It is a beautiful Sunday. First time it hasn't rained for so many days. No, I didn't go to church this morning. No, I didn't. I'll talk about church a little bit. I am a preacher's kid. Grew up in church. Loved it. Loved my family. Loved my dad and my mom, and loved the church. It was great. Grew up all my life in church. But why didn't I go this morning? I don't know. I mean, this is my church. Outside, being here, nature, connecting, simple lifestyle. Church. So many things has crept into the church. Read an interesting thing this morning. You know, Christians hold the largest amount of the world money. Should that be an economy booster for the United States? Boy, I have a problem with that. Let's talk about money. Let's talk about church and money. Yeah, let's do that. When I go to church, it's been the last 5 years. Money, 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 money. You hear it all the time. It just doesn't end. My dad never spoke on money. Correction, he did one time. There was a need in the church. They couldn't meet their finances for a power bill. So from the pulpit, he asked for help. And guess what? It was met 4 times over. God owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. So why is it constantly begging for money? And I call it begging. I do. You know, and it's almost like a celebration now. You have to listen to them drone on and on and on about giving and finances and how God will bless you if you give. Yeah, okay, fine and dandy. But, you know, God's going to bless you if you don't give. It's how your relationship is with Him. You know, there's relationships in churches, and I'm just going to go ahead and say there's love languages. There's love languages, just like there is with mates or, you know, your significant other. In church, I feel that your relationship with God is also a love language. Either you pray a lot and you feel close to God, or you can prophesy and feel close to God, or you know, whatever it is you do. For me, it's music. I mean, music is my number one. I mean, when I hear a good music rendition, it gives me chills. It just, it's music. Music is my love language. You know, that's between me and God. That's our relationship, and that is so important, and it's lost. I mean, I recall in church how if you are in worship and you don't raise your hands in worship like everybody else is doing it, there's something wrong. Oh, she must have had a bad week. She's not close to God like she should be. I don't go along with that at all. Church has put you in a box, honestly. I'm not talking tradition. I love tradition. It's putting you in a box. You worship a certain way now. And sure, I'll talk about songs. I can talk about that all day long. Let's start with Christmas. Did we ever change Christmas songs? No, we do not. I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas. Just the old hymns of the Christmas carols. We don't scrap them. We don't scrap those songs. We can add to them. You know, we can add new songs and whatnot. But that's Christmas. That's tradition. Church, no, it didn't happen. It didn't happen that way with hymns. Hymns were basically scrapped. They were pushed along, and a new wave of music has entered the church, and that's fine and dandy too. Not my cup of tea. I like it, but I would like for them to mingle in some hymns of worship at the same time. Our ancestors, that's what got them through their hard times, was hymns. You can't really listen to Switchfoot and when you're going through a really hard time and expect some kind of help, some kind of feeling of peace. No, you hit the hymns, you hit the old hymns of the church, the Amazing Grace, there's so many old hymns, and they've just been pushed aside. People talk about it a lot. People talk about tithing a lot too, and the church is run as a business these days. And I know people will say, hey, it's okay, church has to be run as a business. Does it? Does it? I don't think so. There's this YouTube video called Pro Church Tools. You probably heard about it. Anyway, there's these young, I call them millennials, that are given advice to how to run a church. And there's 3 great trends going on, and one of them is scrap tradition. What? Scrap tradition. Anything traditional, scrap it. We're in a new world. I get it. I get it. Use your iPhones, use your iPads, but really removing the pianos and organs and, the pulpits. Have you ever seen a wood pulpit in a long time? No, they're probably all burned, Everyone has to have their own little way of preaching now, and I don't know, it's different. Go back to tithing. First of all, I'm wondering if tithing is even a thing, really. Back in the Old Testament, when they had the Mosaic covenant, I believe that was the time that they tithed. But when the veil got broken and on and on and on, that was lifted. You need to give to God, but giving from your heart and giving because someone didn't tell you to and make it a celebration, I think that's important. I think giving to people in need, giving to Africans, giving to orphanages that you know about, that is true giving. That is true. Why put money into a church that is prospering and you don't know where the money's going? I also saw where Joyce Myers, love her teachings, but she's worth $8 million. She has a $10 million jet, and she has several $1-million homes. Franklin Grimm, he's worth $25 million. Rick Warren, he's a purpose-driven life guy. He's worth $25 million too, but he's a little different because he drives a 12-year-old car, and he has lived in the same house for 22 years. So, that's cool. That's cool. Creflo Dollar, he's another one. He's worth $69 million. And that's his cash collection revenue. He believes it is the will of God for you to prosper. And he has 2 Rolls Royces. I just don't think God's very pleased with that kind of behavior. Again, Africans, they need the money. They need it for food, not Rolls Royces. Benny Hinn, he's worth $60 million. Pat Robertson, $100 million. Kenneth Copeland, I don't know. I just think he's a piece of he's worth $300 million. And he has a $17 million jet. And he preaches prosperity gospel. I don't believe in that at all. I believe in simplicity and minimalist lifestyles. I believe in helping others. If you can't help others, try to figure it out. Anyway, I don't know. Then I'm going to move on to people of the church. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I love the people in the church, most of them, some of them. Judgy people. So many do's and don'ts, and that should not be at all. That should not be. You know, if you have a glass of wine, shame on you. You're gonna go to hell. You know. My dad preached against alcohol on the pulpit. There was a reason he did that, though, because he had an addictive behavior and he was an alcoholic before he began his ministry. And I get that. And then let's talk about marijuana. Why not? We live in Washington. It's legal. So many people, Christians, will say, you know, I'm on CBD. It doesn't have any THC in it at all. Who cares? I mean, okay. But yet you're popping prescription pills in your purse, and that seems to be okay. I don't know. Oh, now you're probably thinking, oh, Darlene's a stoner. Yeah, roll one up. No, I'm not. Weed is not my thing. I find myself in the pantry eating buckets of cereal, and it is no good for me at all. So it's just judgy people. And I know you're going to have that in churches. You're going to have that at your jobs. You're going to have that everywhere. But out here, you know what? Life is my church. I love it in nature. I love it being simple. I love it planning and giving glory to God, thanking God every day. It's a relationship, definitely a relationship. And it's beautiful. I mean, be simple. Don't get wrapped up in doctrines and judgy people to hang out with just because they're in the church and they're Christians. You don't even have to go to church. I mean, honestly, you don't have to go to church these days. Life is a church.